Tennessee Senator Bob Corker is the ranking Republican on the Foreign Relations Committee, and he joins us here this morning. Good morning, Senator. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Martha. Thank you.
So what do you think Republicans should do after the president announces this executive action tonight?
Well, we're all talking about that, Martha. I think that, if you really look at the situation, and people are using words to describe the president, but the fact is this president is disrespected around the world and held in contempt by his own party. So this president is not acting in strength. He's acting in weakness. Unless lightning strikes, it'll be the worst presidency in modern history. And so it's almost like, in some ways, a 13-year-old would react. Look at me, I'm important again. And so I think as we look at our response, we need to remember that we have an opportunity over the next 2 years to begin moving this country ahead. And there are many people that are going to want to turn this into a personal issue. But the fact is, we need to be prudent. There has to be a response, no question. But it has to be a response that enables us to continue to move our nation ahead, remembering that this president is going to be gone in 2 years. He's incredibly weak. And candidly is doing these things because he doesn't have the ability to lead and is not willing to put the effort out, by the way, to do the work to actually cause things to pass in Congress.
Mitch McConnell was talking about that too. Changing minds, democracy is tough. It is difficult to change people's minds. And there are polls this morning that show that the people are not with the president on this issue. But let me ask you this. So the president has issued this challenge to all of you on Capitol Hill. He says, go ahead. Come up with a immigration reform law, and I will crumple up this executive order and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Well, the way a leader, Martha, would act would be to say, hey, look, there's a new Congress that has a majority of Republican members. During this first quarter, I'm going to give you the opportunity to deal with this in the most effective way that you see fit. But again, that's not what this president has done the entire time that he's been here. Again, this has got to be the weakest president our nation has seen in modern history. Well, you've said that, Senator, but I'm asking you.
I'm asking you about the president's challenge, and I understand what you're saying. But he's saying, go ahead, Congress. Go ahead, come up with an immigration reform bill that I can sign, present it to me, and I'll get rid of this executive order that everyone hates. Are you going to do that?
Well, Martha, I think you know I voted for the Senate immigration bill.
Yes.
With John Hoeven, I produced for the Senate, and it passed overwhelmingly, the strongest border security measure that has ever passed either body of the Senate. And that's what caused the immigration bill in the Senate to actually pass out. So I've actually voted for an immigration bill that could have been improved. I don't know what our reaction will be at this moment, and I think part of that is contingent upon what we actually see occur this evening. But what we need to realize is we don't need to take the bait of a weak, ineffective president. What we need to do is think about the appropriate response, but also realize we have an opportunity over the next 2 years to continue to govern, and this president would relish in us getting into a personality issue. He's the most divisive president in the country. It's all he knows how to do. And what we don't need to do, we need to respond. But we also need to keep our eye on the fact that our job over the next 2 years is to pass policies that make this nation stronger. And we need to keep this in that context. And so, let's don't take the bait. I mean, he'd love for this to be about him. That's what this president has been about for 6 years. Let's make this about our nation. Let's have an appropriate response. Let's continue to govern.